Hello there, guys. It is Shark Hunter 21. Doing another one of my review slash rants. This time about Outlast 2. So, originally I wanted to do an LP of the game because I did Outlast 1 as well as its DLC Whistleblower. Had a great time with the game. It did a lot that I liked. Personally, I'm a big fan of the found footage idea in movies. Mind you, there's plenty of movies that get it wrong. So fucking wrong. But I still I love the perspective. I love thinking that we're only watching this because someone recovered the tape. It's a fun idea. It's a nice way to trick my brain and like, this is real. I know it's not, but still it's the fun idea. And that's what Outlast kind of does for me. It's this, someone's gonna see this, someone's gonna watch this and go, fuck. And of course, it does a much better job with horror than a lot of games I've played, where the horror just falls flat fast, or they rely so heavily on jump scares like movies nowadays do. They like to call themselves horror movies. Ooh, boo, I jumped out of a closet. That kind of shit. But with Outlast 2, so again, I was going to do it for the channel. I recorded initially first session about 2 to 3 hours. And even then, already in that first recording, I already felt off. It's like, I'm not enjoying this as much as I should be already. What's going on? And real quick, there will be spoilers, of course. So, hey, shocker. Spoilers for Outlast 2, Outlast in general. Anyway, first 2 to 3 hours of the game. Already I could tell there's something off because the pacing is so fucking bad in this game. It's really annoying because you go from circumstances where you're going through the town or foresty region so many times, and you're in a shitty situation, and you can almost always guarantee that you're going to be hit by a light or just walk into the next dimension, so to speak. And what this all where you go to is your school. You go to your Catholic school back when your character was in the 4th grade, which, okay, all right, that's not bad. Sure, nice soul, cat. But then they started doing this way the fuck too frequently. I figured going back to the school might have been something that happened 3, maybe 4 times. It's not. It's something that, especially after you hit the midway point of the game, which is about 4 hours in, maybe 4.5, you can almost guarantee every half hour, as long as you're moving well enough through, every half hour, you will switch back to the school for about 10 minutes. 10 minutes, you're back in reality. Switch back. And it just goes on and on and on. It completely kills the tension. Because what happens is, whenever you go into the school, you're actually physically moving in the real world. So if you were getting chased by some bullshit, or if you're in some shitty situation, you're fine. Every time. You might come out into reality, in a pretty weird situation, and I'll get to those, but more times than not, you come out of it's like, oh, okay, well, that was weird. Where am I now? And it sucks so bad. It totally pulls me out of it so quick when it's, okay, what happened? Okay. Moving on, I guess. That's all you can do. And besides that, and I'll get more into the pacing problems as I get into the actual school. The main antagonists in Outlast 2 suck. They suck. They're horrible. Because I can tell you right now, I can remember a hell of a lot more about the antagonists from Outlast 1. Far more than I'm ever going to remember the antagonists from Outlast 2. Outlast 1, there's Chris Walker. You get introduced to him very early on. And he's a constant threat. He shows up every now and again. He's even there right up until the very end. Up until the Wall Rider just explodes him. He's gone. Besides that, there's also the twin brothers, the naked ones, who keep talking to themselves like this. Isn't that right, brother? Yes, brother. What shall we do with him? He thinks we're idiots. We'll just see what he thinks of us after. That kind. The doctor who removes a digit or two from your character. At the very end, there was also the guy in the wheelchair, of course, down in the hidden science labs underneath the asylum. And of course, anyone who played Whistleblower all the way will remember not mostly the first guy, the crazy cannibal with the buzzsaw, and I'm sure if anyone heard the noise, the zzzz, you'd remember that crazy fuckhead. Not necessarily him, but the other guy. You remember the one who wanted to turn you into his bride by chopping off your character's dick and balls. And for any people who might be watching this who's a male, and again, who played up to that part, yeah, we all felt the same pain. That's the thing. I can remember all of them. They all had a very memorable thing. Mind you, Chris Walker, not quite so much, except for just being this returning threat all the time, because the fucker could kill you with one hand. Just grab your neck, and that's it. That's all it took. And you could even say the twins, not so much, except, again, I can remember so much with them, period. With Outlast 2, I will not remember the villains at all as much. The first one you meet, and this another part where the pacing gets fucked up. The first one you meet is Martha. I'm going to go with Martha. The tall woman with the pickaxe who recites the hymns and the verses and shit. She's dressed in the black stuff, clothing. Black clothing. When you first meet her, the game really fucks up there, because instead of your character just getting a good look at this threat, being introduced to it, you get introduced to this threat because this threat can kill you, which sucks. Don't do that. That shoots my immersion dead straight away. With Chris Walker, the first time you meet him, he grabs you out of the fucking bookshelf you were trying to get out, trying to slide in between. He looks at you, calls you a piggy or something like that, I remember. Chucks your ass just effortlessly down to the ground floor, and you don't see him again for another, 5-10 minutes, depending on you're exploring. And even then, he disappears for an even longer amount of time after the next very brief encounter. But that's my point, again, is Chris Walker versus Marta. With Chris Walker, it's established very quickly without Chris Walker even needing to kill you, because the game puts you in situations where you only have the one option. Very first time you meet him, it's a cutscene. You just, this is a big threat. Watch out. The second time you're trapped in a room, he's hammering on the door, and you've only got a locker. So, guess what? That's where you go. With Marta, however, it's bad. It's just really bad. She can chase you around for a bit. She will chase you around for a bit because there's no way to get by her without her seeing you. When a small chase happens and she can get you, kill you, boom, restart. Bad. It's bad, in my opinion. The whole premise of the game, though, to get to the plot real quick, is you and your wife are trying to figure out the mystery behind a pregnant woman, I believe, who suddenly showed up out of the woods. One sec. Coke Zero, thank you. You're trying to find a pregnant woman, find the origins of why this pregnant woman just showed up dead, I'm pretty sure. And sure enough, you end up finding it because your helicopter crashes, your wife gets taken, and when you reunite with your wife, which also feels so stupidly fast. I mean, you reunite with your wife, hour and a half, maybe 2. It's just like, well, that was easy. But she's been raped by the cult leader, Father Noth. She's been raped by him. Seed's been put into her womb, and I mean, immediately, as soon as you reunite with her, she's taken right back away. And who is she taken by? Not by the cult guys. No. There's a second group of heretics. There's these fuckers. And they've got a whole different ideology, apparently. So, again, this is just where the pacing for the game really fucks up. In the first 2 to 3 hours, you'll lose your wife. You're introduced to a main threat that can kill you and more than likely will upon your first encounter, which is just not good, in my opinion. Should have been handled a lot more like how Chris Walker's was back in 1. Where it's just more established. Your wife gets raped. Reunite with wife. Find out that there's another group of cultists who take your wife as well to do God knows what. I mean, you do get an idea that they're trying to protect whatever seed is now festering within her. Oh, and you're also having these weird flashes back to the 4th grade where we're introduced to another stupid antagonist. I don't understand its purpose. Mostly for its visual look at all. One of the cruxes of the game is you continuously flash back to the 4th grade, and you keep having thoughts to your childhood friend Jessica, who is assuredly dead. You keep having flashes back there, and you keep encountering this same thing, and that's the best thing I can call it. It's this creature where its main 2 arms are typically always bound up together, but it has all these other hands and shit just coming off of its body, as well as the lower jaw, I think, was just like missing, and it has an extra long tongue. It's just a freaky looking humanoid thing, and it's nothing more than a haunt, really. It doesn't make sense. What it is some bad hallucination slash visual representation to this pastor that more than likely sexually assaulted your friend Jessica, as well as resulted in her death. I have no idea why, though, your character is the one seeing the pastor as this monster. It doesn't make sense. Why is the pastor the fucking monster? What? I mean, okay, he got your friend killed, but usually these things would have greater context. You know, you just cobbled together this goofy ass looking thing for the sake of making it look scary, which sucks. Because every goddamn time I ran into this thing, I kept getting hit with the same feeling of, why am I scared of this? Why should I be scared of this thing? What am I worried about? What does it matter? None of it matters. At least as far as I'm concerned, to your character. Again, when you find out what the creature is, being the pastor, but then how that translates into it being the creature that it is, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. There's no fear in that. It's just a fucking weird monster thing for the sake of being a weird monster thing. And that's it. This thing continuously chases you throughout. Every now and again, its tongue will just appear in weird places, out of a well, out of a phone. Try to choke your character. I don't get it. Maybe at some point the pastor tried to choke Blake. We don't know. At least in none of the notes or none of the gameplay mention any of that. So there's Marta, there's the creature pastor, and oh god, yeah, there's one really bad one, like really bad, out of place one. I hate this. I hated this whole fucking section so fucking bad. You end up in the woods at some point, and there's essentially the lepers here, all these diseased looking fuckers and shit. It's just bad. It's like if you touch these people, it's like, and I now have 15 different diseases, and my hand is already being deteriorated. Oh shit. It's kind of the impression you get just by looking at one of these people. But the main threat in this area, it's not Marta. It's not the hallucination, of course, because the hallucination primarily only exists in your head, and it's not even a real viable threat at all, except for making you have constant game overs. There's this dumb fucking enemy. God, I wish I could remember the thing from Mad Max. Damn. It's two things. There's a much larger, let's say 6.5, 7 foot man, along with another person on its back that is, you know, the brains of the operation, and of course the other part is just the brawn and source of movement. And besides the guy in the back being the brains of this whole thing, he's also apparently a marksman. And I mean, the motherfucker is a peerless marksman. In so many of the encounters with him, there were so many times where I got just one hit. Mind you, I was playing on hard, so I wanted more of that just direct punishment for fucking up. But at the same time, it's just, I couldn't help but scream bullshit so many times, because you're telling me that this guy with just the bow and arrow is able to hit me so many fucking times in the chest, throat, it looked like sometimes. Just fatal hits. It's just, oh, okay. Sure, game, sure. But you just have this dumb thing in the forest section, and it serves no purpose. All it is, this is a much less effective Dr. Traeger level. Because back with Dr. Traeger, easily the most memorable thing with him was losing your fingers and then having to escape from him. The whole time you're hearing the of his scissors and his talk. It's very, it was a very tense feeling. It's like, motherfucker just took my digits. What else is he gonna do? Shit. With Outlast 2, however, this is gonna kill me not to remember the Mad Max characters. Oh well. But I can't remember their name at all. It's just, except the nickname is Symbiote. With that pair, they try to mimic Outlast 1's moment where your character gets crucified instead. So you get a couple nails in the hand, and then there's a really bad trial and error section where you have to get through a small encampment area of the lepers and find bandages. And for me, since I was playing on hard, if I wasn't in the perfect hiding spot when I was wrapping up my hands, even when I was up on a section where none of the fuckers were walking by or could have gotten to, with my back to a wall so I know where fuckers are coming from, every time I would wrap up my hands. Otherwise, if I wasn't in this one hiding spot in a weird dark spot in the grass, I would just get killed. It's just, fuck. And just restart, back checkpoint. Fuck you, player, you didn't do it right. There was no one near me, however. Tough. But again, they try to mimic it. Your character gets crucified, and you even get buried alive at some point, but that's even so badly done because you get buried alive, which is a wonderfully terrifying thing that you could implant into the head of someone, except you get out of your grave way too easily. I mean, you're even put there by the duo, the Mr. Bow and Arrow and fucking Humpty Dumpty. They bury you in such a shallow grave. I mean, seriously, all your character pretty much has to do is push a little bit to open the casket up, and that's it. Because I looked back, turned around, and no. Like, they put on, like, maybe 2 inches of dirt. That was the threat. Red barrels, that was the best you could do. You couldn't have, maybe us trapped in there for a couple minutes, really worried, trying to break out of the thing, and desperately crawling through the dirt as our character is suffocating. Create some real tension instead of 5 seconds of, oh, well, this is bad, to 1, oh, I'm out. Cool. Thank you. And I harp on this game so much because it's also very, it's very unoriginal. There's little to no originality at all with it, because all the sections are so cut and dry the same, where you're just they pretty much all start the same, where maybe you explore for a minute or two, but then chase sequence, You're running, you're running, you're running. And again, the chase sequences are all so badly linear this time around, where if you don't make the right decision, the right turn, you're going to die. Start over. And again, that just murders the tension so quick. As well as, God, so there's the chase sequences, which get boring after hour 3. Because, geez, I've been running from the townspeople or Marta or the fucking thing in my hallucination. Which I still don't know. I have no reason to be scared of because I don't know what it is. It's just a creepy looking thing. Ooh. I can't. I'm going to bring that up one more time at least because that. I'm really pissed off by that stupid thing. Having no purpose as to why it exists. As it is. Anyway. But that's the meat of the game. There's the chase sequences, pause, chase sequence, pause. That's pretty much it. You might run into a circumstance where you actually need to hide a little bit. For example, when you get down in the mines and there's the cult leader. And it's a fairly tense situation, somewhat. I mean, you're down the mines, the water's up to your waist, and there's this crazy bitch. Fairly tense situation. Except, and this is a problem I've had throughout the whole game, is, mind you, Outlast 1 and 2, they tell you your characters are not fighters. Okay, fine. Makes sense. Except, as far as I can remember in Outlast 1, your character never really encountered any real weapons. I mean, maybe they could have picked up a chair or something to, try to throw defensively. But in Outlast 2, you run by so many farmer tools that it doesn't make sense. You can't tell me my character's not a fighter. My character's fucking brain dead. Anyone who found themselves in this situation that your character in Outlast is, after the first hour of, you've encountered Marta, you've encountered the townspeople. They're fucking nuts. They're gonna kill you if they catch you. You're not gonna walk by the fucking pitchfork and go, huh. That could be useful. Nah. No. That's just it's one of the problems with it. You walk by so many different tools. So I start screaming bullshit even more about my character's not a fighter. My character's not a fighter. It's just their fight or flight response in their head is just non-existent. There's nothing, which doesn't make sense because there's sometimes when you get grabbed, very rarely, you'll have a chance to escape from it, where either your character will kick the grabber in the head or shove or I think punch at one point I saw. So you've lost the ability to tell me that my character's not a fighter when there's all these weapons that he's just too stupid to pick up, and when he's actually making effort to get people off of him. That kind of horseshit just doesn't fly with me. Not at all. Not at all. So getting back to the story real quick. So wife gets taken, she's raped. Briefly reunited, taken again. Great. So from then on, for the next 3 hours, you're trying to find her again. And the whole time, you're just finding all this stupid crap about the cult. How Noth is fucking all of the town's women. killing the infants, all that, killing the children, all this crazy fucking shit. Okay. And it starts to get old really, really, really fast because that's about all the stuff. There's just so much of scripture that you find is just like genitalia related or something. I'm not saying that you can't have that, but don't kill it, okay? Because with one of the scriptures I found where some guy saw a vision, maybe Noth, and then I saw the many-faced figure appear, and it proceeded to fuck the earth. Yes, fuck the earth with its giant cock. And its massive cock was so brilliant when it was fucking the earth. Yeah. No. I'm done reading this. This would happen so many times. I kept finding more and more of the scripture crap. And it was just, I'm done. This is boring. I get it, but it's boring. Anyway, so going back to the story, so you get through the forest section. Dude gets crucified, doesn't matter, worth a shit, however. You get crucified, you get through the forest section, Humpty Dumpty and little buddy end up getting killed just by a fall. And then you end up going to the mines of Moria. Go to the mines, find the wife. She is already somehow 9 months heavy pregnant when she was raped not 9 hours ago, even. Yeah. So then you get through the mines. You got your wife with you. All hell's breaking loose around you. I mean, serious shit's going down. You encounter Marta for a final time. She gets killed by a lucky toss of the wind, primarily. Wife gives birth, supposedly, and I'll get to that in a second. Wife gives birth. Noth kills himself in front of you. And you walk into the open where all the townsfolk have now killed themselves, and then the sun just engulfs the entire vision. And that's it. That's the game. That's where it ends. Oh, and you've got the supposed baby with you, of course, after the supposed birth. And I say supposed because apparently there's some good speculation and evidence pointing that the same guys who were doing the wall rider experiments and research back at Mount Massive and Outlast 1 were actually doing other weird experiments here in Outlast 2. Except you only catch some of this shit in notes. So if you miss it, you're totally fucked. You're just totally fucked. The only other way you might have a hint is because your character kind of remarks at it. And like, oh, what the fuck is that out in the distance? Some power plant? That's weird. Odd. So, you... So, what it comes down to in the game is, maybe this was all a hallucination. Oh. Fuck you, extra hard game. I can work with the hallucination stuff, but you damn well better explain this. This open ending bullshit doesn't work. Because what I'm damn sure is going to happen is Red Barrels is going to release a fucking DLC, which, dollars to donuts, you are either going to be playing as some kind of scientist this time around, or you'll be playing as Blake again right after the sun envelops everything. You're either going to be playing a scientist who's going, oh, look at that. Oh, yeah, things are going well with the experiment, guys. High five. Yeah, great. hey, what was that talk about? A wall rider coming? Or you'll be Blake, and he's going, what the fuck happened? As the scientists are trying to study him. And all I can say to that is, you will not be getting my money, Red Barrels. Not at all. I was already a little suspicious at the game's price. $30. I was like, okay, 30. I mean, that's cool that they're not putting this at 60. But I can't help but scratch my head a little and go, but why? And come to find out, it's because it's not a good game. It's just not. It's very incredibly bare bones. There's no horror factor in it, because if you play on anything higher than normal, it just becomes annoying. It becomes very annoying with the number of times you just get killed and restart, killed, restart, killed, restart. It just sucks all the horror out of it, because I'm just sitting here playing and I'm just, oh bullshit, I got killed again. Okay, great, restart. That's primarily what happened. And I don't think I'm a bad player. It's just, like I said earlier, so many of the chase sequences are linear. I mean, 95%, if for being totally honest. 95% of the instances where it's a chase sequence are just so linear. Again, where if you make one fuck up, you have fucked up. You're dead. And it just sucks. It sucks. It drained all the fun out for me. That's why I stopped doing my own LP. I got halfway through the next session and just realized, for the last 15 minutes, I was just sighing with frustration at the goddamn thing. Just, I'm not having fun with this game, actually. I'm getting mad at it. Uh-oh, what's going on? So I didn't want to do this video right after I had beaten the game. And I was still considering on whether or not I wanted to do it. But I want to do it now to make sure, at least, to have another piece of someone saying, this isn't good. Myself, one of the reviewers I'm kind of on and off with is Angry Joe. I mostly like his stuff. His current content, I'm not a big fan of. All the other non-video game stuff, but whatever. It's his channel. We're not talking about that. He did a review for Outlast 2, and I was so happy when he... I mean, seriously, just about everything fell right in line with how I felt about it. Because when I looked it up, it was like, after I beat it, it's just, the reviews, they've got to be bad for this, right? 9. 8. 9. Bullshit! What game did you play? Fuck. Because that's just what I keep down to. I don't understand where anyone giving this game high marks is coming from. I don't get it. It's just, did you play Outlast 1? Did you play this game all the way through? Are you actually thinking? I'm not so sure. And again, I'm not content with going to DLC stuff, because the DLC for Outlast 1 is completely unneeded to make any sense of what happened. The best thing you get with Outlast 1's DLC is you discover who gave your main character in 1 the information of, blew the whistle. Duh. And is the reason why your character's there. Excuse me. which was great because again, you could play all of Outlast without touching the DLC and still feel like you played a full game. That DLC, the Whistleblower DLC, is just it's icing on a very good cake. And I usually don't like icing. That icing, however, give it to me. Oh, it's good. Love it. Mwah. But again, for Outlast 2, however, it is one of those things where it looks delicious. You go, all right. Wait. Does this taste fine to anyone else? Oh, wait a minute. This isn't cake. Oh, this is bullshit. That's what it is. It's just Outlast 2, it's not good. It's not a good sequel, in my opinion, at all. There's no horror at all in the game. Any kind of horror elements get sucked right out of it so fast. So fast. And it's terrible because there was so much potential for it. There really was. It was just, oh, this is perfect. Cults, religious bullshit. It's gonna be great. Ah, no. How'd you fuck this up? And again, I am so damn sure they're gonna be doing a DLC for it, which will, like I said, more than likely, I'm banking it's gonna be either random scientists or Blake right after, to fully explain what happened. I guess I didn't go into detail about that, but the whole idea is that not Mount Massive, but the guys behind the Wall Rider stuff, I forget their organization. I think it's with an M, maybe Murkoff, yeah. The whole idea is that they're sending out some kind of audio, some kind of hallucination inducing thing, which is fine. It makes sense, I guess, and better helps to explain why your character's, flashing back to the 4th grade, some. Except then it's like, okay, then why did the helicopter crash at the beginning if that wasn't some magical bullshit? What? And there's just, like, if there was something so much more tangible, like now last one, 95% of the game you are in the asylum. It's only in the very last part, the very last half hour, where you discover, oh, there's a laboratory under here. They were doing some crazy bullshit. Mind you had found notes and stuff that was obviously hinting and suggesting all this stuff, but then you actually find it. It's like, oh, that's cool, actually, to find it, to see it, to touch it. There's nothing like that in Outlast 2. Because it just, that's why the pacing feels so fucking bad. It's also rushed. There's no meat. There's nothing. And, again, I needed to express how I felt about it. Because I'm so sick of these reviews sometimes that come out where it's just praise, and then when some poor bastards might get their hands on it thinking, oh, it's gonna be great, and oops, it's not. I'm one of those poor bastards. Because at this point, I sincerely wish I could refund. You know, I felt the same way after I played Gone Home and Firewatch. It's just, Jesus, what a fucking waste of money. Oof. That's all I can say, just woof. Yeah. And, there's no good interaction either with the... I say there's no good interaction with father Noth. You hear him, giving it to your wife, for sure. There's a torture scene where your character's hiding in the confession booth, and Noth is literally right there. Boy, couldn't you have solved so many of these problems had your character thought to take a knife off of the table or the rack that he's been passing for the last couple hours and just, I don't know, stab him in the fucking head? So, besides hearing him give it to your wife, hearing him on the loudspeakers, the confession, and then at the very end where he just kills himself after, a quick conversation, which is just him talking, that's all you get. Which, again, sucks shit. There is no main antagonist or threat that I genuinely felt worried about. Nothing. And that's why I brought up the stuff with Outlast 1 before. Because, again, I can just list them all off. And, again, Traeger, especially, is the one that sticks out for me as being a huge threat. I mean, even when it seems like you're going to get away, motherfucker is opening up the elevator thing and coming at you with the fucking blades. Ugh. It's excellent. I never felt any kind of tension at all like that in Outlast 2. There was nothing. It's just bleh. It's a why did I play this game? But yeah, that's my thoughts and opinions about Outlast 2. It's not good. It's not. When you actually sit back, digest what you actually played, it's not good. I'm never a big fan of the "it was all a dream" type crap. And when you go that extra mile to poorly explain everything and anything that's going on, and where it's quite obviously not sequel baiting, but DLC baiting you, no. No. It's the same thing now, like with the guys who made Firewatch. I will permanently be on the lookout for their name, so I know never, ever, ever, ever to touch one of their games again. And unfortunately, Red Barrel right now is in that situation. Mind you, Outlast and its DLC, great. But Outlast 2, no. No. So I'm at a funny place with that. Where I still trust the developers some, but I'm just confused as to what they were thinking and what went wrong so badly here. This just feels like whoever was writing the game this time around didn't understand horror's elements properly this time. This felt like someone who's been way too exposed to gore porn type movies, because there's plenty of that. Blood everywhere. Ugh. Blood everywhere. And the fucking the shock value stuff is there, but it comes and goes so quick that it's just whatever. Who cares? Yeah. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up. Jesus. Yeah, my rants always go on for a lot longer than I think they will. No. And I wouldn't be doing this if it didn't bother me so bad. You know, it, I really wouldn't. But it just did. Outlast 2 was a pretty bad disappointment. I was pretty excited because 2017 has been a pretty goddamn good year so far. Pretty goddamn good. The only other stinker right now that I'm actually fixing to get my hands on because I was able to get it cheap. Mass Effect Andromeda, apparently. You know, everything I've seen from that, it's definitely, that's pretty subpar. What the hell, BioWare? What is happening? Who killed BioWare and who is now wearing their skin? What happened? But yeah, no, it's one of the things that really sucked. I had some pretty good hopes for Outlast 2. But after that first 2 to 3 hours, every hope just shriveled up. The plot gets... I mean, the plot, at least as far as the school memories, is painfully obvious as to what happened. I mean, you can take a quick... let's take a quick crack. Anyone. Young schoolgirl, Catholic preacher. Take a guess what might happen. Oh... And of course, you know, your character's kind of playing the third wheel, so to speak, and that. It's just... it's just disappointing. It really is. And I just hope that we don't see... I really don't want to see DLC come out for this. Mostly because I want to see a backlash where the sales for its DLC are abysmal. Just so Red Barrels gets it through their head of, whoops, we fucked up. Because that's just, again, that's something that worries me, is all those stupid high scores and praises. It's just, what game did you play? It's just, I can't help but ask. It's just, alright. That's gonna do it, guys. That's my thoughts, opinions, rants, and overall review for Outlast 2. Got the hiccups now. It's subpar at best. It's not a good... I can't even put it in the horror category. It's very repetitive, and as far as plot goes, you'll have to wait until the DLC to figure it all out. Yeah, that sucks. And I'm sure they're going to make you pay for it too. But I will not be one of those people to pay for it. Nope. Because this was a piece of shit. Alright, guys. Again, that is gonna do it for this one. Feels good to have actually done another rant video. It's been a good little while. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you watched this far, or if you're watching any of my other videos, seriously, appreciate it. Thank you. I have no idea when another video of this style come about. They just kind of do whenever I'm particularly heated about something, usually. I mean, the last one I remember doing was for Phantom Pain. Yeah. Probably about as lengthy, I guess. Right about. Alright. But again, that's going to do it. I will see you guys in the next one. Alright. Bye-bye.